That, my friends, is the sound of a 9,000 RPM redline, a naturally aspirated 9,000 RPM redline, and that's because I am driving the 2027 Porsche 911 GT3 S C, the Sport Cabriolet, and as you can tell, the top is down, and that is uncommon in a GT3 like this one, because it is the first time this car has ever been offered as a cabrio. I know that might seem at odds with the mission of this car. I'd have to agree with you, but then Porsche has a way of sowing at least some controversy with its cars, and this is the latest example. That's supposed to be a spiritual successor to the 911 Speedster, although Porsche is very quick to point out that there is much more to the story. Now that is for one simple reason, and it's because this 911 GT3 borrows a lot of components from the 911 ST, and it is predicated upon weight saving. So the hood, the fenders, the door skins, they are all made of carbon fiber reinforced polymer. And then there are magnesium components, including the wheels, just like the ST, and something unique. This top is made of magnesium parts underneath that soft top. So it is very light. It weighs something like, I don't know, 40 kilos total. It is a very impressive package. Also impressive that it's fully automatic, so you do have an actuator under the hood that adds another few kilos. It works very smoothly, very quickly, 12 seconds to open it or close it. You can do it at speeds as fast as 50 kilometers an hour, but obviously this is the way to enjoy a car like this one, because that 4-liter just sounds so good. I cannot get enough of it. And I also can't get enough of the fact that this car is manual only. Yes, the way the car gods intended it to be. That PDK would also add unnecessary weight, and it is the enemy of a car like this. It weighs something like 3,100 pounds. You want to keep that off, and this is supposed to be a driver's car. So yeah, give me this 6-speed manual. It's also been modified. I talked about this if you watched my last GT3 video from when the 992.2 car launched last year. It's got a closer final drive ratio. It's about 8% shorter. And part of that is in response to emission standards. That's also why this thing has 4 catalytic converters, and it could sound just a little bit better, but it has to meet new regulations around the world. And so Porsche is doing its best to play within the rules, but give you the best experience possible. And I gotta say, they absolutely delivered. Now the 4-liter makes 502 horsepower and 331 pound-feet of torque, which is more than enough. I do have it in sport mode right now, but it is very responsive, a very broad power band. So even if you're in a higher gear than you want, stuck behind a slow-moving vehicle like I am right now, it never feels like you're wanting for torque. You are right there in the meatiest part of that torque band just about all the time. Some specifics about this car: it is most closely related to the 911 GT3 Touring in terms of the suspension setup, and apparently Porsche decided to start with that setup as the baseline, and then it quickly realized no changes were needed to be made for this convertible version, if you can believe it or not. Apparently, they also realized that it didn't need to be any stiffer. This was a problem with the 911 Speedster. Obviously, it had to be made stiffer, but that added unnecessary weight. In this case, nothing more was needed. And I'll tell you, this does not feel like there are any issues whatsoever on these winding roads out here in Germany, just outside of Stuttgart. This is as pure and beautiful to drive as the GT3 Coupe. No, I'm not on a racetrack, nor will I be in a car like this one, but if you're just in it for that sensory joy, all that pleasure that comes with that engine noise, just drop the top and soak in that pure pleasure. It is absolutely spectacular. Now, something else we should talk about: this is not a limited production car. Porsche will build as many GT3 SCs as it can sell, but here is the big sticking point to me. The starting price in Canada, $313,000. That is a $68,000 price hike compared to the GT3 hardtop. That is a lot of money. I mean, this thing is priced like a special edition, and I get it if you've got the money, maybe it doesn't matter to you, and the fact that this thing is so special could make it worthwhile, but I don't know, to me, I'd have a hard time shelling out all that extra cash versus just going with the hardtop. I want to know what you guys think though. Is this drop top pleasure worth that price hike? I don't know, that's up to you. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. If money were no object, would you opt for this Sport Cabrio, or would you stick with the traditional GT3 coupe that you could take on a racetrack just about anywhere in the world? I don't know, I'd have a hard time. But what I don't have a hard time with is listening to this 4-liter, and I gotta say, in an era of electrification and turbocharged everything, a naturally aspirated engine like this is a very rare treat.